Welcome to the Solemn Vanguard channel. Today we are doing my second Q&A. So if I didn't go over your question, it's probably because it has been answered in the first one. I will link that in the description. Also, I still didn't fix this awful light. I have to get a second and unbalance them so my glasses don't reflect as much. Regardless, let's get into those questions. So, what is your favorite clan ever in Vanguard? I think that's pretty obvious, Aquaforce in every single way. What are some of your favorite games? I'm actually not much of a gamer. I play Overwatch sometimes, but not a lot. I usually don't have time for it. So I guess that's all. Like Vanguard and then a little bit of Overwatch. Do you believe that the decks we play now will be useless after the G era? Much like all the other eras, I think like 80% of them will fall off and then 20% will be kinda playable until they generally completely degrade into useless trash. What deck will become meta post GB14 and Stargate Nation booster? I already did a prediction video for the Stargate booster, so check that out if you haven't already. For GBT14, we haven't seen a lot of cards yet, but I believe both Luard and Chronojet will become very potent. Maybe Blasters if the support is good, but that's all I can say for now. Have you ever thought of retiring from Vanguard? Honestly, I quit once before during the Legion era because basically everything before that became worthless. I think that's the biggest problem with this game right now, that when the new season rolls around and some kind of new mechanic is introduced, everything else becomes fucking trash compared to that, which forces people to buy whole sets of new cards, making people more likely to actually quit. Because if you've been thinking about quitting and then suddenly you hear, oh, all your cards you have right now are trash, then it's way easier to actually quit. What do you think about a mechanic that prevents loops? This would allow the restriction list to die once and for all. I don't think it would. Stuff like Mick isn't really some loop combo unless I'm really out of the loop. And I also think a restriction list is pretty healthy. Sometimes Bushi just releases a card that's too good and then they can restrict it somehow. Imagine if they restricted Melem, for example, or TikTok Worker back when they had to, we would have had a much healthier game for a big chunk of the G era. What are some clans you would recommend investing in with G coming to a close soon? Honestly, like none. This might not sound great. I am actually buying a lot of decks right now just to have fun. But if you're someone who really wants to get all of their worth out of a certain deck, I wouldn't tell you to invest right now, because in March we are seeing what the new season and mechanic will have in store for us. And so it could very well be that you buy a Luard deck right now that you then have to trash in May. If you're really broke or you have to be really careful with money right now, I wouldn't invest into any clan. I would maybe invest into staples of certain clans because they will always be useful. I don't see a card like Mike Sabugo in Great Nature going away very soon. I don't see Tidal Assault going away unless the new mechanic is actually an early game mechanic. I will go deeper into that in another video. I have a hunch of what they might do in order to make Stride not totally useless, but still overpowered in some way, so we keep buying cards. Which is your least favorite clan or nation? My least favorite nation is the Dragon Thing Nation. I don't like any of those clans at all. I don't like the dragons. I don't like the really trying to be badass kind of stuff, so that's not for me. I don't like any red clan, sorry. Least favorite sub-clan? I don't know, probably something that's really forgettable. Like perhaps Magus. I don't know. Sorry, Magus fans, but it just doesn't tell me anything. At least the red clans have some cool cards here and there, but those ultra forgettable sub-clans that didn't really get enough support, those are generally the ones I don't like. Different Fight asks, what are your goals for this year in Vanguard? To beat your ass? No, I just hope I can keep helping some people, hope to entertain you, and I also want to top. So if my teammates are watching, we're gonna top Team League, we fucking have to. Okay, I will say this right now. If me and my team tops a Team League, like first place, I buy both of them a beautiful SP. What is your favorite Vanguard card? I mean, there are quite a few I like. Crayon Tiger, Mordred Phantom, Barrow-Wool, Tidal Assault, Alexandros, Lambros. What do you want to see for the new mechanic next season? I have no clue, but I do have a hunch what they might do. I would also like a way to nullify triggers. I think what would be really healthy for the game is if you could discard draw triggers in order to nullify critical triggers or something like that. Have an interesting mechanic where you have some hand trap element like Yu-Gi-Oh has right now that can maybe add some depth to the game, but not so much that you can destroy someone else's turn every single time. If there's gonna be a new clan in a new season, which nation would you like it to be? I would like a Magallanica clan that's based on ice stuff and Viking stuff and some ice dragons and shit like that. Who is your avatar? I don't know, I don't have one. Let's say Coiling Duckbill. What made you choose Aquaforce as your main clan? My girlfriend bought me a Tavas deck and the rest is history. Do you think the game is still fun because there's Dust, the new Jet GR and Deluge? I think the game is better than it has ever been. There are so many clans that can be played, and yes, there is a lot of power creep, but given that they're power creeping everything at once, at least like the majority of the game, I don't really mind. It's pretty hurtful for the wallet, so I hope the new season dims that down a bit. That's also why I think they're doing it. I think they are making the new G cards so ridiculous that everyone has to keep buying them, and then with the new season completely nullify that level of power creep. When they make a new series for Vanguard, what clan do you think the main character will use? I think either a new one or something that's insanely popular already to boost sales. However, what I do think they're missing is some kind of nerd side character. So when you look at Beyblade and other kinds of animes from that like kid game niche, you generally always have this one nerd that explains all the complexities of the game whilst the main character is playing. So in Beyblade you had this guy Ken who would do all the mumbo jumbo Beyblade science talk while Tyson would be Beyblading. And so I think for Vanguard it would be interesting if we had a side character nerd that would go into some more of the actual combo work whilst the main character actually plays the game. And I think Great Nature would be amazing for such character, because it really fits the lore and stuff. Is it worth investing into a Gold Paladin Gurgwit deck with the G series coming to an end? I would say absolutely not. I don't think it's smart right now to invest into any deck if you don't have some pieces already. I know this is actually bad of me to say because it doesn't actually stimulate the Vanguard economy, but let's be real for a second. If you're really tight on cash and you think, oh, I'm gonna buy a deck right now and it's gonna be my deck for years, like that's not gonna happen, because in March we see what the new cards will do and they may very well just shit all over G. And then what you're gonna do? I don't think you should do that. I think you should hold on to your favorite decks at least, because do keep in mind that a lot of solid decks from the Legion era did seep into the actual G era. Look at fucking Chanoir, he still did some splashy stuff. Abyss still did some splashy stuff. And so, do you drink? If so, what do you like to drink? I really like water. So no, I don't drink any alcohol, I don't do any smoking or drugs or blah 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 blah. I'm really hella boring, I don't party, I just stay at home. So I don't drink, I do like a Fristy, if you know that. Kiddie Bull, if you know that, and Coke. How was your experience with the French community at the CRC and at the BCS? I actually really liked it. I especially preferred CRC. Honestly, it felt more professional than the BCS, which is odd because CRC is like started as a fan-made tournament and BCS is the official one. BCS didn't have enough room, and so at the end of the round and at the beginning of the round you had a lot of people going through one small hallway to get to the thing. But I mean, that's just the game growing, still being relevant, and then the tournament pulling in a lot of people. Regardless, I really liked CRC. You really gotta check it out if you're close to France or the Netherlands or Belgium. Solid tournament. If you could create a mechanic in Vanguard, what would it be? Some kind of hand trap that every clan can get. Something like discard a draw trigger to call this card from the G zone and have some kind of effect, because that would make it so there are way more interactions in the game. Because right now, if you call a card, you know for a fact my opponent can't do anything about that unless he has a G card or something. I would want there to be a mechanic that actually forces you into thinking maybe he has a draw trigger, maybe he can fuck this play if I do it. Just something like that. I think that would really up the skill level of this game. Do you think it is possible to win big events without a meta deck? Worlds was just stopped by fucking blasters, so I guess so. Do keep in mind though, the non-meta decks that still win in big tournaments usually have some kind of anti-meta element going for it. So you can't just blindly go, oh, I'll just play Liberators, I stick with non-meta, because you at least have to think, hey, how can I make it so I can still counter the meta with this non-meta deck? What are you most excited about for the new season coming in March? I want a new protagonist. I'm fucking sick of Chrono. Fuck Chrono in every single way. He's such a plot armor, indestructible DT kind of player. I fucking hate him. We need a character like Aichi who loses hard all the time and actually gets better, so there's an actual storyline going for it rather than, huh, I'm the cool school kid, I don't give a fuck about nobody. Oh, here's a deck, let me just play the game. Bam, I win all the time. Like, no, I don't want that anymore. So I hope a new protagonist. I want a clan that's not super popular yet. So I don't want any Royal Paladin or Overlords or Shadow Paladin in the main team anymore. We need some random stuff like Great Nature, Aquaforce, Nubatama, even Murakumo would be fine, as long as we stop having these hyper popular clans getting the same sets of support over and over again. Are you planning to attend any regional events, teams or singles? What deck will you be taking? Yes, I will attend, and why would I tell the whole world what I will be attending with? That sounds very, very dumb. I can tell you already, I won't be playing what you think I will be playing. Why choose Tavas out of so many decks? Well, you fucking ruined it already right there. No, I choose Tavas because I mean, it's so versatile. It allows me to say, okay, this turn I want to go really, really hard in aggro because it makes sense in this current game state. But then at the same time, I can also choose, I need some more draws. I will maybe go into the Lambros, conserve some counterblast, use it on Melanios to get a bigger hand, and then win. So it just allows me to choose how to play at all times, whereas some decks really don't have that choice. They have to be aggro at all times or get advantage at all times. They don't really have a playstyle in which they can choose and adapt to situations, and I really like Tavas for that. What do you think of the state of Eradicators in the metagame? It's just not meta, not competitive, not relevant in any way, sadly. I mean, I would love for my Revengers to also come back, but it's not the case for now. What do you think of Bushiroad dancing around the Wiseman loop when they gave support to Genesis in set 11, and do you think they will do the same with G set 14? Here's the deal. The Wiseman loop is easily the hardest deck in the game. Some people may go, oh no, I can do it. No, you fucking can't. I see no one in the English meta actually pull off the 100k ridiculous giant pokes that they do in Japan, which is why in Japan it tops constantly and in English it just never does. Because it's a very complex deck and most people don't really take the time to fully master the deck, and that's why it doesn't top, so Bushi doesn't do anything about it. I think we actually did see it top like twice or something, really low like that, and then that's the rare player in English that actually knows how to play it. But those are anomalies. Generally, English players don't take the time to actually learn the deck to its fullest potential because they also don't have as many tournaments. Like in Japan, you can go to a new tournament every day, so you get to test it in every single situation, whereas in the English meta game, you simply don't have that. So that's what I think about it. I don't think Bushi sees the need to nerf it because it simply almost never tops here. Also, Overlord can kind of ruin that whole play. Smart players can still play around it though. Hoi ahoy, answer my question or die to us useless green clans of the natures. I play a green clan. I play Great Nature. What type of stride does Big Belly need now in order to be competitive in the meta? I mean, it's topping in Japan. I wouldn't really complain too much. I think it desperately needs some kind of stride that really, really deals with control. Not this half-assed stuff. We need a card that gives resist or like not being able to destroy it kind of skill to your field, so denial and defeat flare doesn't ruin everything, while simultaneously also doing something, because Afank just gives power to himself. Sure, it's fun to have a full resist field, but what are you gonna do with that? Then you have Lesser Writer, which gives resist to your field, but only when it's successful. It costs a soul to do so, but Barrow will use a soul already. Also, Crayon Tiger has no success, so doesn't get to resist. That's annoying. So we need something like Afank, who also has a skill that's beneficial for the board state and so forth. And then probably also an unlocker, because given the Stargate booster, I don't think Great Nature will do anything anymore. Is it a good idea to run 2 Bubble Edge in the Tavas deck? No, because the value in Bubble Edge is that it's a +2 out of nowhere. It's the one booster that changes into 2 cards or 3 cards. If you run an extra Bubble Edge, you actually have to call it, which is a -1, and so a Melania would do just as much because it also stays on the field. You also don't really need the soul Bubble Edge gives you, because Petros and Supersonic Sailor and Malika give you that already. So a second Bubble Edge sounds terrible. What do you think will happen after GBT 14? Will we get a new mechanic or will we stay with the G zone? I think both will happen. So first of all, the G era will end. This is a fact already. Can't get around it. You can't just say, oh, I'm keeping my strides. Like, it's a new era. It's very possible that the new cards will be part of the G zone. We might go to like a 24 card G zone or something dumb like that, and then get some new kind of card. So we are getting a new mechanic. G season ends, but it might still be part of the G zone. Will Diablo get good support? No, of course not. Like, Luard is Bushiroad's child right now, and they will get all the support, and Diablo will get absolutely nothing unless the blaster support is actually for shadows. Then we might see something like Blaster Dark, Diablo, Exceed or something dumb like that, but the main support will still go to Luard. However, the new Luard card, the Stride, is actually usable in Diablo and all the other Shadow Paladin subclans, so it's still a cool boost. I will be picking up 4 for my Revenger deck. And the final question, where is your accent from? I am from Belgium. So, hope this was interesting. There are more questions, but we had 240 comments. I can't go through them all for this one video. I hope that was interesting to you. Please subscribe to this channel for more. Click the bell button to stay up to date, and I will see you soon. Ciao!